All right, friends, welcome to the second round. Hidden Cup 5 qualies, catching up to live time here with a legend, dogao. Dogao, in Hidden Cup 3, was the player that was incorrectly Did I spell dogao wrong? Oh, God, I'm so disrespectful. It's his fault. It's his fault. You can't come in here with Dogon El Cacharon and then blame the caster, all right? This is Dogao's fault that I had to do that to be professional. I'll text him about that later. Anyways, I think back to Hidden Cup 3, dogao made it to the semifinals. And when we did the guesses at the end and, the big reveal, the majority of the community was surprised that it was dogao that made it to the semifinals, that had given Viper such a great test on islands, if you really remember that. So dogao has been in Hidden Cups before. Dogao is, if there's a Hall of Fame for Age of Empires, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And he's not as active as he was in the past, but he's always around, man. And he's got some old meta vibes to him. And it's such a fun one because it's like Andre has been improving the last couple years. He's a bit younger. He doesn't have that as rich a tournament experience. But I know he's been training, and he definitely has like the more modern era feeling, right? And then you've got dogao, which is just super dependable, super consistent. And, the nerves. I think he's past the point where he really feels intense nerves because he's just won so much, and he's been in so many big moments. So Brazilians also, I don't know what it is, but we don't have a lot of tournaments that focus primarily on water these days. We just don't. I'm happy to bring it back. I want there to be a diversity. I want there to be closed maps, open maps, water maps, hybrid maps. I want players really to be tested. And player preference, particularly in the main event, is a big one, right? Like if dogao is still one of the best island players in the world, he makes it to the main event, and then we have a situation where someone's picking islands first. Chat, what do? You say dogao confirmed, right? Or like, I don't know, maybe there's going to be another name that really likes islands in these qualifiers. You say it must be dogao, right? So he's always been really good on water maps. He's gone for the Italians here, which I do think is the number one civ. But a lot of other people think that the Portuguese are the best civ on islands. We haven't had we have not had like one civ winning every single game so far. I've seen Portuguese win. I've seen Portuguese lose. I've seen Italians win and lose. I've seen Vikings win and lose. Japanese, we haven't seen as much, I think, because they're saved for some of the other maps. Those are the big ones. Koreans have actually looked pretty good. And we'll see more civ variety once we get to best of sevens. And of course, every series has 6 bans before, so there is some level of like diversity there. But I think on islands, the nature of the map and the nature of civ balance is I think there's really only like 5 elite civs. And players are not going to ban out all the elite ones. So we'll probably see a similar rotation. Another one, Armenians. We haven't seen Armenians played. I bet you any money it's being banned every time. Because I talk to people about practice stuff and preference, and Armenians are definitely insane. Okay, so back dock for Andre could indicate more of a fast castle attempt. Back dock here for dogao could indicate the same. So the previous game, we had Feudal Age Galleys against Feudal Age Fires, and then a Transport and Knights in Siege. This game feels like it's going to be different. Could be wrong, though. You could still go back dock and still go aggressive. So, Pay Health says, Squirrel Brains, should we do an experiment with you? No. Thanks for reminding me of that. Thank you, Marvin. Marvin, thanks for the prime. I missed some gifted subs. Richie and Attila, thank you both for the gifted. I saw them. I saw chat appreciated them, but thanks, guys. Will be a long day today, guys. Apparently, in the other series, it is 2-2 between Dark and Dragonstar. Pretty sick. That'll be exciting for both of those two. But I wanted to start a series fresh, and that's what we're doing here. T90, what's the biggest changes in meta playing of the last year? Do you mean in general, or do you mean since the previous Hidden Cup? Because those are two different things. Also, meta is hugely map dependent, and a lot of the maps for Hidden Cup are only played in Hidden Cup. Like, the main event is going to have 6 maps that are not played in any other setting. I mean, maybe occasionally they were, like in show matches or something, but the main event will add 6 maps. There's still been no info on what the drafts will be, so the qualifier is kind of just like a starting point. So the idea is for their... I think on some of the maps, there's definitely going to be a more consistent way to play, and there's going to be a meta, but when the qualifier ends, the main event players receive their names, they receive their settings, they get 10 days to train, and then they play their games, but they play the first 2 rounds behind closed door before anything is even streamed. So players cannot see what other people are doing meta-wise and just perfect it and copy it. They better make sure that their initial strategy is good. Isn't player color revealing for identities of players in Hidden Cup? Well, it's really fun with mind games, right? So, for example, we had a player in Hidden Cup 2 and in Hidden Cup 3 start off playing in the yellow, and they were not Viper, right? You want to strike fear into your opponent's mind in a randomized bracket? Put yellow. And Viper didn't play as yellow. In fact, the best one for me was actually Hidden Cup 2. Viper always played blue or red the entire tournament. Everyone thought it was Viper, but it was never yellow. We show up for the final. Everyone's got suspicions that Robin Hood is Viper. Game 1, he's yellow. It was like he waited for it. It actually gave me chills. I was like, oh god, this is perfect. The mask came off. Yeah, exactly. So the colors are fun. The tricky thing with colors is I can't show certain colors because certain colors are just awful. For like green, for example, is actually quite bad on green maps, right? Some color combinations are bad for people with color blindness. So if you look at the bottom right, I just want to show you. I'm going to turn dogao to red. It's going to confuse you for a second. You see how it shows the little blue one? So even if I change their color in the game, Capture Age will tell you what they chose. So we'll have that. And I have data on it too. I have data on what colors players choose, and we'll talk about that during Hidden Cup. Sounds fun, right? So double dock here for dogao. He's got 5 fishing ships. He'll have the fires. It is back dock here from Andre. Just one dock is weird to me. He's going to go for another dock. But both players going fast castle. I think this is the first fast castle versus fast castle game I've seen on Islands. I prefer this for the Italians because it's cheaper to go up to each age, so you can just afford more things. It's cheaper dock tech, so again, it's like... it's just much easier with this type of build. Whereas with a feudal age build, you're not getting dock techs for some time. We'll see. Yeah, from what I know, Andre's been training a lot. I can't spoil too much, but I know that Andre's been training, and I could tell. I also spoke to Andre as well, by the way, after his series against Beery. I asked him a couple... I congratulated him because I've seen his level rise, and I know it probably meant a lot to him. But also, I asked him about the Armenians pick on Mudflow and if it was a counter for Goths or something. Kind of like what he was thinking with his draft. Like, I've seen... Within the past year, I've seen a growth in him from Titans League to this. Like, it's clear to me that a bit of extra experience has gone a long way for him, at least in this qualifier. But beating dogao... Oh, it's going to be so tricky, and I just don't like the strat. Like, actually, it's not even just the strat. It's just how late he is to Navy here. It was very awkward. And dogao actually got extremely unfortunate here. He was just passing. He missed the fish. That could have been 4 or 5 fishing ships killed. And so he is very unfortunate not to have killed them there. And dogao on TC number 2, like, you know, not the most action-packed Islands game. But neither player really wanted to take big risks. They want this to go late. For different reasons. I think the Italians can gain such big advantages with early imp. I don't know if the Portuguese are necessarily good to deal with that. A beautiful demo there from dogao, who has still not lost a unit. Schnur says T90 knows the identity of the players in the main event, but the other casters don't. Is that correct? No. I don't know. I am guessing along with you. I'll make some videos kind of highlighting some of the fun guessing sides of previous Hidden Cups so you guys can get a feel, but it's very cringy because I got some really bad guesses and bad takes in the past. Mixing up Max and Veleza, thinking they were Doubt and Tato, for example, comes to mind. Thinking the Max in Hidden Cup 2 was Yo. To be fair, no one thought Max was going to make that final. There's lots of examples. Your bad takes makes it that much more fun. Okay, but in all fairness, I have the data to show that no one else knows either. And the players themselves, also, they love to say, oh, we know right away. Well, after every series, we ask the players to guess. And Hidden Cup 4, the guesses were more incorrect than ever. Now, and I don't think it was trolls because they were really close. So, like, for example, like, Nikov was confused with, like, Veleza. It was those types of things. Jordan and MBL. There was one obvious one where Doubt, he clearly, he 3-0'd somebody in the first round and then said that he thought he played Viper. And that was when, it was funny, I saw that, and then this is before we knew, and I was like, if someone predicted they 3-0'd Viper, it must be Doubt. And sure enough, when the reveal happened, it was Doubt. It was really funny. 3 TC action here, but dogao is just taking slightly better engagements. And again, you know, with the Italians, you've just got so many bonuses that flow so well for you. What helps the Portuguese is the extra HP on the ships. And we're going to even see Bodcanero now for Andre. Wow. So he's going War Galleys and holy demos. Get the emotes ready. But you guys will have an opportunity to put your money where your mouth is too. There was a submission form last time, so the community got to submit right before we do the reveal. You have to guess who all 16 hero names are. And I think I actually got... The community did amazing in Hidden Cup 4. They did better than the players. We had like Reddit threads and like AoE zone threads of people speculating and whatnot. And I think... There were obviously people that got all 16. In my case, I think I got 14 out of 16. I forget who I confused. Oh my god, big battle, big battle. dogao's not expecting this. He is not expecting this investment. This is so much from Andre. dogao's probably like, how can he afford this? This is ridiculous. And Andre, the underdog, he might have be at a disadvantage with the economy. But being the Portuguese, being a civilization that gets very strong navy, has really gone crazy here. And dogao's just kind of been booming. Maybe that more classic style. dogao actually made a transport ship. And dogao is falling apart here with navy control. So to simplify what is actually rather complicated, one player essentially says, I will focus on the boom to prioritize Imperial Age and the later stages. And Andre says, I'm going to smash you and hope to get a big lead before that comes. But I'm worried for Andre because he doesn't have a single farm. So people like to say, oh, whoever wins water wins the game on islands. Well, that's not how... That is not actually true. That is... There's a lot more complexities to it. dogao's got plenty of opportunity to just come back on water later on. So yeah, did that answer anyone's questions about the identities? Obviously, I won't know who it is. You guys won't know who it is. We'll have our guesses. The accounts are created. Like, we've had the accounts for years now. I have admins who rename the accounts and whatnot, give the players their logins, give the players the time when they have to play. That's pretty much it. And, yeah, I mean, more info to come on that, but hopefully that cleared up some stuff for people that didn't know. Imp on the way for dogao, who's losing his docks, though, so he needs to have fire numbers. And Andre needs to make sure he uses the shoreline control to deny those docks. dogao's going to try his best here. Admins could do some inside trade and leak infos. Okay, thank you, Callenfest, for faith in my admins. You think they're going to try and make money off this? Interesting. Inside trading, Hidden Cup edition. I don't pick inside traders. We do rigorous background checks, okay? and we have a security team outside of their house. Goes for the players as well. That's why the budget for this Hidden Cup, that's why I'm struggling so much. It's hard to have players watch 24/7 so they can't speak to others. But I think it's worth it for entertainment. Sure, the players are really scared and terrified of the security team. And sure, it's completely invasive, but it's worth it, right? Kidding! It's a joke! Anything for ad revenue. Oh my god. Here we've got fast fire ship upgrade. Could come in here for dogao. Hopefully he doesn't pick the wrong dock. Because he's going to lose these docks. Andre has a couple random fires around to deal with from dogao. And fast fire can swing this. And fast fire is on the way for dogao out of the dock that's actually on the back. So Andre's going to need demos here. Fast fire will be in 20 seconds. There's just such a big investment here for Andre, who is the underdog. He's not the giant in this matchup. God, even demos could be sick here. Oh, man. And dogao, 2 TCs. He's making fires on this side, and we've got the shipwright upgrade. Imperial Villager in my chat brings up a great point. I think what could have been really nice in this situation is actually a landing. You have full water control from your opponent. Landing would be so nice, but look at these fires now, man. Andre, who took down so many docks and had such control, he just had to invest so much to get there. And now, I mean, dogao hasn't lost much eco this game. His eco's been untouched, and now these fast fires are going to make life very difficult. Here come the demos. The demos will hit these fires. You need these demos to connect. They are very good demo shots. But you also need imp for Andre, and I think he's just maybe showing a little bit of inexperience and comfort on the map here. Neither player banned this for it to be game 1, so he didn't completely hate it. He probably looked at other maps and thought that wrong Brazilian, dogao would maybe be weaker against him there, but dogao played this, at least the way dogao's played this, completely counters Andre's play if Andre doesn't do more with his water investment. Fast fire is just too strong. Like, against Castle Age ships, it's insane. They have 9 pierce armor against a 9 damage ship. So you are doing 1 damage a hit, and that is not good enough. And demos can only keep you alive for so long. Eventually, you're going to need your own navy mass. Portuguese have cheaper units. Portuguese, they have the Feitoria. Portuguese have the ship HP. But the Italians are just super smooth to play. Game 1, Andre probably not loving life right now. And he still hasn't clicked up. So I imagine he's thinking right now he might be dead. But it's really, look at the res collected. dogao, he collected over 3,000 more resources, and certain aspects are cheaper from him. Just taking his time. Gonna grab these relics now from the island. We see players choose not to do that a lot. But, I mean, it's not like he's got anything else to do right now because these fires are destroying Andre. Alex Gaming says, is it just me or is the quality of video isn't very good? Anyone else having issues? I hope that's not a problem. Maybe a refresh could help. Everything's fine. Looks good. Okay, cool. All right. Your neighbor may be stealing your Wi-Fi. I would suggest changing your password. Nice demo there from Andre. Andre just forgot about that. And we've got the fires from dogao around. I mean, do you guys think that Andre would be playing on if he wasn't Portuguese here? I think if he was any other civ, he would have called it. But he's like, there's a chance because I have Feitoria. And he drops a castle here. A castle will go up. Actually could be taken down by fires without murder holes. Funnily enough, because they can sit directly underneath the castle. I don't think dogao will do that, though. The way the maps are chosen is based on the player draft. This map, sorry, game 1 in all sets is determined by player picks and bans. So, islands is been first in maybe like 1 or 2. Oh, actually, no. The previous series that we covered had islands first, which is maybe why you asked that question. But yeah. It just depends on what the players want. I think we're going to see a condo landing at some point. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's a problem. I actually think this is also what makes it so tricky to land the Italians. Because they just have... They can add a barracks and mix in condos very quickly to clean up any landing. So had Andre shown up with something, it would have had to be a lot. Because otherwise, dogao could just go boop, boop, boop. Drop 3 barracks and bank. And just kill everything with the condos. Now he's used his water control. He knows his opponent's going to go for mass navy. But, like, he's prepping upgrades. He's even getting Pavise now. So I have Pavise armor. He'll have full blacksmith armor. And Andre's like, I can do it. I can do it. There's a hope. My mama believes in me. I can do this. It's a water map, people. Lovely Reddit told me Portuguese OP on islands. So we are going to drop these docks and we are going to win. This is winning. And, I mean... Could say, like, maybe make some outposts, but life is rough for him right now, so he's doing so many different things. And, well, that is not going to make Andre feel very good. We've got fully armored condos running into his eco. He's getting heavy demo in the dock that's going down, and yeah, we knew that game was over for a while. This is going to come off a little brutal. But you just cannot go all in Navy on islands. You can't. It's a balance, right? It's a balance. Balance between eco and water. That's what makes it so tricky. That's why players like dogao like it. Because it's those tiny little transitions. But dogao dominated him on water. That does not surprise me. Dogao's the favorite, but he also has always been ridiculous on water. So I'm not sure what Andre banned, but he might be regretting not banning the islands. Islands from the pool, because yeah, there was definitely a bit of a class difference there, but he tried and he went aggressive there, and we'll see what Andre has for his home maps next. Solid game from dogao. That's what you expect. All right, so game 2, and with Andre being the underdog here against a big name, this has to be a win for him. He's gone for the Berbers, and he is up against the Byzantines from dogao. Wow, interesting. So if you remind me in between games, guys, I have detailed data on all maps played and all civs played in the qualifier so far. It's similar to the stat sheet you remember from Titans League we used. And obviously, we're still pretty early for the qualifier. It's a 4 rounds qualifier, and we're like halfway through the second round. But the civ variety has been very nice. I mean, even on just the top of my head, I can think of different civs that we've seen on slopes and whatnot. Like I said, I think the water maps will see a little bit less civ variety because there's only so many civs that are so good there. Maybe cross will see a little less diversity because for the same reason. But Berbers, I think seeing this map for the first time, at least in games that I've casted, and then Byzantines as well. So slope's a lands map. The only little water element will be this puddle. And I said the other day, I think the approach here will be players will not take risks to sit out here with villagers because their vills are exposed, and they will instead prefer to just push in deer. They prefer to just like take 2 deer and not be at risk versus be at risk and take this with villagers. Now that'll be fun come Hidden Cup main event. Like if there's a player who qualifies who's consistently taken the risk here, then that's something I will certainly remember and talk about. And then maybe that helps us guess who is who. But I think the civs that are really good at taking the sides, and I still think there's some reason to do it. Like, players would do it, actually, if we remove the berries, so that's kind of an interesting thought. But I think civs that are really good at taking the sides would be civs that have wood savings. So, like Japanese, I could see Malians doing it pretty frequently. Berbers, you could maybe justify it, though, with faster vills. You could push in deer here, and then you know there's going to be resources there. You could send the villagers out there. What do you think is the most popular civ so far? Persians has been picked a lot. It's been banned and picked pretty consistently. I think that's because of the map cross and because of them being so solid on some of the other maps. But again, we can actually look at the data. I don't think it's the most played civilization. I just remember a lot of drafts where Persians were picked early and where Persians were on the ban list. So yeah, that's just off the top of my head. But we'll look at the data here in a bit. I think we've had something like 14 or 15 different civs played on many of the maps with 2 exceptions. Maybe 3 exceptions. I don't know. So I imagine it'll be scouts here for Andre. Berbers have the cheaper knights, which is great for aggression, and they have cheaper camels too. But Byzantines are that counter civ. They've got cheaper spears, and they've got cheaper camels. And I feel like as long as you don't make mistakes with Byzantines, as long as you're super consistent, super solid, you generally are going to be in the better spot in Castle Age. And that's dogao. Like, this is the perfect pick as the favorite. You pick a civ where as long as things don't go wrong for you early and you can just play solid, you don't run into problems. And that's exactly what dogao is. You're not going to see as, maybe this isn't the most clickbaity about dogao, but it's just like, there's really nothing about his game that makes you go, wow. It's just so good and consistent, which in and of itself, of course, is a big wow factor. Thank you, Bip Bop Be Boop, for the resub. Bip Bop Be Boop says moo. Thank you. Also, Magnolia, welcome back. Smoking Kraken, welcome back. Depp Holt, Crass, Glue Universe, thank you. Zero says, thanks for the great content. Love from Atlanta. Much love, man. Have some Bojangles for me. I think Bojangles is really popular around Atlanta. Mousekin, Pounce House. Thank you, everyone, for the support so far on the qualifier. We have more sets all day today. I am planning to be casting. I think if things go as scheduled, I'll still be casting in 6 hours. So I think this day is the day that has the most games in round 2. Here's a stable for Andre. Makes sense. Goes for scouts. Dogao's going to do the same. Now, you don't have any bonuses at play here if you're the Byzantines, but a scout's a scout. And what does dogao do here? Well, he scouts to see if his opponent is over here. And he's going to play safe. He's going to wall up. You know what would be interesting? So I can't talk specifics about main event, right? I obviously have an area where players can give feedback, and we could chat about it if they choose to do so. We have a team which is kind of working on the maps for the main event, and I'm working on that every night. But what I don't want to do is say what we're doing for the main event for the 7 players that are already in, and then have them be able to practice it, right? So, but it's just a thought, right? With slopes, it's like, I always love the sides being an option, but if we feel so strongly that the sides are not worth it, maybe? I wonder what would happen if you just had like 3 berries here instead of all 5. I don't know. That's definitely maybe worth considering. It doesn't change the focus on the map. A little bit more risk incentive. I don't know. Then again, I kind of like the fact that we have still seen players taking it, so don't want to like force players to have to play a certain way. The idea is we have the I like options in Hidden Cup and promoting scouting and whatnot. And dogao's just literally just keeping his scouts at home. He checked here. Opponent didn't take resources. Cool. Let's get the walls done first. Super, super dogao play, man. Because why should you take any risks whatsoever in this matchup? And why should you take any risk whatsoever if you're the favorite? It's on Andre to break him now. And until dogao is shown that Andre has the level where dogao should fear him and have to be aggressive early, dogao is not going to do that. And now he moves forward. Unfortunately, Andre's got to have the experience now. You have to have the experience that says, I'm not going to break him. He wouldn't be moving forward against me if he could be broken. And you need to play safe as well at home. And runs into a spear shot there. Now dogao's scouts are out. And just like that, Andre, who was also walling, doesn't have his walls down. And now he's got to work really hard at this and defend from this situation. But eco's looking good for Andre. He hasn't taken any losses. He has the spear out. He can finish up these walls. Scout's still lurking around, hoping for damage. I think Fire Draken is our last series of the day. And I'm really excited. I like how dogao killed the extra deer here. I'm really excited to see if Fire is going to house wall like a madman. So dogao doesn't do it as much these days. But there was a time in the early iterations of Hidden Cup where the Brazilian players were known for their house walling. Like, everyone else would palisade, and they would just casually house wall. And it was Hidden Cup 1, and I was seeing it, and I was like, this is Riot or Fire. Shout out to Riot if you ever are watching. Riot's retired and has been for a while, but he's, like, honestly, such a big talent. So many people don't know about how good he was. But anyways, as dogao goes in to kill a Vil, Andre, speedy Vils, Andre, quick walls. Oh! Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Villager's not dead! Take that, dogao! Holy crap! Oh, dogao's got to be so frustrated there. Riot would be disappointed if he was watching. And, I mean, some, of course, mistakes there from dogao, perhaps, but also beautiful damage control there from Andre. I really confused. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. But I think dogao misclicked a couple times in there and then obviously was blocked off. That's huge for Andre. To complete my point, I was like the Brazilian's house wall, right? And then I remember after the event, Fire messaged me, so after the reveal, and he was like, yo, T90. He was like, that was such a good call. He said, when I was watching your cast, I remember saying, damn it. Because if I would have thought of it, I wouldn't have house walled as much. But yeah, like now this is fairly standard where you palisade first so armies can't get in, and then you add the houses behind. That's not really, like, everyone kind of does that. They're both on the way to Castle Age here. Okay. 2 scout animations missed time. That's crazy. Do you guys want to look at that again? Let's look at that again. We have nothing else to look at. Okay, so at this point, there's 3 scouts on basically full health. They need 3 hits, 2 hits to kill this Vil. Okay, so that was a missed time. That was a missed time. That was a hit. That's a misclick. That's a miss, and that's a quick wall. Yeah, so Dave called it. There was sometimes the animation and the actual attack do not match. That's always been the case. And dogao basically tried to click his scouts away a little too fast, right? Because you want to get the hit, and you want to get the scouts out of there. And yeah, that slight mistime there led to him basically losing all his scouts because he had to recommit. And then also not getting the Vil. I don't actually think that was like a big pathing gripe. Like, dogao wasn't able to move his units because there was lots of units there, you know? I've got my gripe with pathing, don't get me wrong, but I think that wasn't really a pathing issue. I'm not sure how the units should really move otherwise there. But dogao might not agree with me there. So where do you go to boom, guys? Do you leave the safety of your little corner and go to the sides, or do you choose to stay at home? I think dogao is going to answer that question here in a second. Close game. Res collected's dead even. In the previous game, we had different openings. It looked better for dogao pretty early on, in my opinion. Oh, dogao trying to leave safety, and Andre, where are you going? Wait, what? Andre! Did he not realize? Oh my goodness. That was gifted on a silver platter. I think he probably... Sorry. I think he probably was just focused on the armies here. But if we go back... dogao's trying to sneak out. Oh man, I think he set waypoints and he must not have been looking. He's looking here, but look what he missed. And dogao sees that and is like... and turns right around and goes right back inside. That's a big deal. 3 villagers. Also could have denied the TC out there. And meanwhile, Andre was on this side. So Andre had the right idea there. And now we see a camel war. Now this will be a camel war Now Andre's checking this side. But it's a camel war when Byzantines have... I think they have cheaper camels, right? And then Byzantines can always switch into Halb. The Berbers don't have Halb as an option. So the Berbers really need to get, like, I think monk numbers out. That's also kind of an issue because Berbers don't have great monks. But I would say even getting to stone and getting to camel archer could be a key here. Do you prefer bloodlines or slightly cheaper cav? Or slightly cheaper camels? I prefer Byzantines because of Halb and because of the healing and because of just how good their late game is. Yeah. But if you get to, like, there's a greater peak available for the Berbers if they can get there. In Camel Archer, like, it's a bit weird still against Byzantines because they can do so much. But still, like, Camel Archer mixed in with whatever unit choice. Camel Archer Champion or something could be, like, really good. Camel Archer Camel could still be really good. But you don't pick Byzantines for any early game strengths. You pick Byzantines for the late game. We see this more now than ever. In the past, it was like people would only pick Byzantines for their fire ships on water maps or something. People are happy to pick Byzantines. Because it's perfect for dogao. It's just chill. So I think Andre has to find some action towards the middle. There's lots of golds and stones towards the middle. I wouldn't mind a siege push. Now, there's plenty of reasons to think about the Byzantine tech tree, think about what the Byzantines can do against the siege push, but maybe siege, monk, messy through the middle. Now, on the sides, guys, you've got a stone on one side and a gold on the other, and they both have gone for the gold side. So any stone income is going to be in their starting base. And we have devotion now for Andre, so he'll resist some conversion. He does have a light cav, so if dogao's out of position with those monks would definitely go down. He's expecting the monks to be here. He's not expecting the monks to be on the other side of these trees. And the light cav go in. Oh, this could be nice for Andre. 1 monk down, 2 monks down. And, well, still lots of camels, but he gets conversions. This is a nice fight for Andre. He has bloodlines. Byzantines do not. He has attack. He has armor on top of it. He might lose his monks, but he's keeping his light cav alive. Really nice fights here for the Romanian. And dogao, huge favorite. Dogao playing very chill, but his opponent has brought some fire here. So not bad. Now pikeman's in for dogao. We're going to see him primarily push into that. This is where if you can be on stone thinking about camel archers, eventually maybe pikeman's not so good for dogao. But still, castle's a long way away. I would love to see a siege workshop here. It just like scorpions, right? Great against camels, great against pikes. You could push all these resources. I think this is a forward siege workshop. But maybe he just doesn't have the res right now to be able to justify that. We see a couple knights now from Andre, just to make the fights a bit more efficient against the pikes. Mass pike's still really strong against that, though, in the long run. And is this a fight that you want to take right now if you're Andre? The answer is yes. Zero hesitation from him. He knows it's only going to get worse if his opponent gets more pikemen out. He kills some monks. He takes the hill. He's losing camels, but he is pressuring. Full camel against cheap camel? Pikeman and monk. Try and make this make sense for me. It's numbers. But eventually you need something more. I think Andre is getting away with these trades, but at the end of the day, Byzantines don't spend too much, and this is where it looks better for dogao. Great job from Andre, though. He's killed a lot of monks this game. There he can't kill more. Now you have a bunch of weak camels. You're mixing in knights against your opponent who has monks, camels, and pikes. Like, adding knights against pikes here is not gonna be it. The trades were good for the time being, but... And this is where I struggle as Berbers. Like, now, against a lot of civs, when they just go into pikes, you feel the need for camel archer, and it just takes so long to get there. We'll see. Could use the mobility, but it's kind of hard to do that, right? Dogao is He's got vision everywhere with Byzantines. He's pretty safe. Also, dogao snagged 2 relics. So maybe too late for Siege now, because you certainly... A big thing about Siege is the positioning of it. And dogao now knocking on the door with his pointy voice. Andre running through. dogao wants to castle drop him, and dogao's villagers are completely unprotected. His monks are also completely unprotected. dogao, maybe some overconfidence, maybe not realizing that Andre would swoop like this. But nice finds here for Andre. This is very good. The bulk of the army here for dogao is still over here. And the KD for Andre, even though we feel like the writing is on the wall army comp-wise, the KD's been amazing. And Andre's dropping his own castle there. And dogao's going to place a more passive one towards the middle. Let's see how Andre deals with this now. He would have seen the vills, so he's expecting a forward castle. He might be really scared that a castle from dogao will go up here. He couldn't stop that. But dogao doesn't have enough vills to build a forward castle now, or so he feels. So he's walking across the map now. Guys, how good has Andre played this? So good. Look at his recognition of the situation. We have the all-seeing eye, right? We are spectating. We don't have the pressure. Maybe you do feel pressure while watching. I don't know. But he will drop a castle. He will click up to the Imperial Age. It's cheaper for the Byzantines. But he actually clicks up first. And now he has to defend from this. Keep this army out of his base. And that is a lot of army here. I think dogao will find it uncomfortable to push through there. I think Andre can do this. He can mix in some camel archers. And he could even build another castle and potentially have 2 castles against 1 here in this incoming Treb War. That's true. I don't have channel points on this. Ooh, this is a camel archer castle. This is a castle that is not a Treb War castle. So this is what I'm thinking. Another thing, I love the camel archer. It's incredibly strong. But I feel like there are a lot of instances where this happens where you need camel archers, but then you also need trebs. And if you don't make trebs, your opponent never loses their castle. That's a problem. So you have to make the trebs, and then you don't have the camel archers. So I think an underrated move with Berbers. The last time I talked about this in a tournament cast to you guys, I remember the exact game. It was Coast to Mountain. It was Hera versus Barros in TTL. It was Persians against Berbers. It was the game where, if you have a crazy memory, Hera went for full walls at the start, super mega boom, super greed, and then Barros ended up going Siege Ram Halb. And the point I brought up there, and the point I'll bring up again is, I think, even though camel archers can be really good, a lot of people forget that Berbers actually get hand cannon. So I wouldn't mind using the castles for trebs and actually getting chemistry to go hand cannons. In theory, you could do both, but just worth thinking about, because Byzantines oftentimes win the one-on-one castle Treb War situation. dogao has 3 relics. dogao's slightly behind economically, but slight. The relics basically make up the difference. And dogao's going to be like, what? My opponent's an imp faster than me? What on earth is this nonsense? Because Andre just recognized this so nicely. Played so well. Does he upgrade his cav or does he upgrade his camel archers? Obviously, it's going to be the camel archers, right? Just now getting Bodkin. That was the Castle Age upgrade, but that's enough for this because these are still Castle Age units. dogao's going to need more camels now than anything. The first Treb is on the way. We don't have Trebs from Andre. This is the problem. The camel archers are sick. But you are producing from this castle over here. And this castle might go down. It could get awkward for you. Still no heavy camel upgrade, though, for dogao. And dogao on the back foot. Andre, what a player. Such an important moment here. He has to win this game. He has to. You cannot win 3 straight against a player as good as dogao. Here we go. Might be that the camel archers are all that's left. It's so much harder to micro the camel archers. Oh, man. dogao's camels getting kills. And camels still do bonus damage against the camel archers. And the camel archers are like, no. Oh, man. And what you don't have is a way to engage against the trebs. You didn't start the momentum with the Treb War because the castle on the side was for camel archer production. And it's so tricky because I don't think going camel archers is bad, but I wanted to explain what can happen. And this is precisely it. Now, what happens to dogao is camel archers kill everything he makes. But the logic is, as long as you take down the castles, as long as he can't push you, you can afford to toss away some units here or there. And now Andre forced to repair. All relics collected, by the way, in this game. Pretty crazy. Dogao's heavy camel upgrade coming in. I mean, it takes so long. But because camel archers have to hit and run, Andre was always going to be pushed back. You could never run into this army that dogao has. And dogao has made a lot of it. The halbs are going to die. But if they get hits, they'll still poke some camel archers down. Andre actually deleted the castle he was going to build here because he needs more stone to repair. Was trying to go camel archers. The issue here for Andre. Again, it's hard to fault him. This is a tricky situation. He is still trebbing dogao, but he will lose this castle, which means this trebuchet that he's creating there gets canceled. He does still have 5, but dogao says, fight me then. Come on, come at me. Come here. I'm here with camels. What are you going to do about it? You don't have a castle anymore. Your civ doesn't get halb. And Andre behind this will go for elite camel archer from the single castle he has, but the rest of his base is just going to be pushed nonstop by these cheap units from dogao. Dogao still has this castle up. He still has trebs. And dogao actually trying to expand to the side is getting found. Nice find there from Andre. Nice vision with the outpost, but that'll get converted. Dogao should be able to expand. And the trebs continue to advance. Now, elite camel archer. Sick. 100 kills for Andre. 70 deaths. But look at how much map he's lost. This stone and gold in the middle is so valuable here. He does have enough trebs to potentially kill dogao's trebs. But I think dogao has enough army to just... You kind of just toss him in here against the camel archers. Dogao is to repair his trebuchets. The pathing is really awkward because of the buildings that Andre has. Hold on. Hold on. There might be a chance for Andre. He's got elite camel archer. This is no joke. Okay. Dogao still hasn't taken out the castle. Tossing camel and halb in underneath castle fire and camel archer constantly. This group of 12 camel archers has 35 kills, which is insane. Bombard cannon rolled on in, though. Bombard cannon's a problem. The TC versus the bombard cannon. And the treb gets the other shot. But the camel archer mass is so low right now, isn't it? He's only got 6 of them, actually. They're still very vulnerable against the halbs and the camels if they get in close. All 3 of dogao's trebs are weak. He loses 1. He's got 2 remaining. And oh man, all I'm seeing though is Andre investing more and more stone into repairing this castle. 30 camel archers though. If he gets to that number, and he can stabilize, and he can breathe a little bit, maybe then he's got a chance. His eco count's still decent. The idle time's not. Dogao being on his trebs is not good. It's a 2-to-1 KD because dogao just continues to run in underneath the TCs and also this castle. But he knows if he takes this castle down, he probably wins. Just 1 treb for dogao. That's it. And maybe bombard cannon from Andre. And hold on, folks. Andre's not finished. There were downsides to going camel archer. But now he's got 2 castles. Now he has conscription. He got the unique tech earlier, so the castles work faster. And these units can actually give him a shot. And dogao has got to think about other things. He's going to think about skirm now. And he's going to think about the Omega late game. He's going to castle here. I think the next castle should go here. You just make it so you can't be broken. So you have time to get into skirms. But the crazy thing is, dogao might not have time because it's not like Andre has no siege. Andre still has siege here. What a hold. Bombard cannon. Dogao loses it. I think Andre can win this game. What a crazy game. Elite camel archer upgrades in. Full upgrades are in. It's so rare you see it. And what a fun game. Oh, big camel raid over here from dogao. That'll get dealt with by some camel archers. And that's actually what dogao needs to do now. You need to find ways to avoid this. And because Andre he's getting closer to the death ball unit. You need to just pick him apart and go to different positions. Bombard Cannon is Dogao's best friend here. It will hop out. Andre's scared. Andre will back away with the Trebs. Great job for him to do that. There's a lot of camels there. Nice attack round from dogao. That was beautiful. Dogao holding. Getting ranged upgrades. Mixing in skirms now. So we'll have skirms with his camels. That will make things worse for Andre, who still can't take any of this golden stone towards the middle. And there's a lot of it. Dogao has 145 bills, and he's just held this so well. That was, again, just enough just to ensure that it's awkward for Andre to push. And Andre doesn't want to throw, because he knows that a couple hundred people are just waiting to use the T90 throw emote. And he doesn't want to give you guys an opportunity to do that. So he's waiting. He doesn't want to trickle in. He wants to be certain that he's fully popped and has everything in his power to push this when he shows up again. Camel archers patrolled over here. This is why the castle's there. And you don't look for 3 seconds, you lose 6 of your favorite unit. It's not much of a throw when the game is this close. Yeah, there would be no throw here. It was just classic streamer trying to mention his emote for a second. I get that. It was all pretty much joke on my part. Andre's also not thinking about what my Twitch chat is going to say, right? He's thinking on the game. But just in case, just in case you thought that I was serious, I figured I'd clarify that. Bombard Cannon gets sniped. This is awkward. This army, man, these camel archers are insane. And still there's Trebs and still there's siege back here. But dogao he's not taking any damage at home. None whatsoever. And he's got 30 skirms now. And Andre can't seem to get the upgrades in on his cav. Mixing in light cav makes sense. But it's still, when all the action's happening so close to your eco, it's hard to afford everything and get the timings right. If he had fully upgraded light cav with the camel archers, he could take this fight, no problem. I think at least the Castle Age armor might be enough for him to still take this fight. Dogao should be looking to snag these relics if he can. Monk is just chilling there. He'll never see that. Unless he has the mod that I have for my monks, he will never see that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, camel archers were a little bit vulnerable there. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Interesting fight here. Bombard cannons are exposed. Bombard cannons can be sniped. Camel archers. They are killing the camels. Treb goes down for dogao. Camel archers are owning. The light cav on the front are owning. Andre is not finished. His army is just so much stronger. But dogao has access to more resources, so he can stay here all day. I mean, if this game goes on for 2 hours, maybe even stamina becomes more of a factor, which, when there's a big age gap between the players, wouldn't be the first time we brought that up. But dogao, I mean, he lost his siege, but dogao still has the better population. Now Andre thinks this is my moment. It's crazy, though. Dogao's got the perfect distribution of res behind this and the perfect castles. He's got every resource coming in, and I think he has the perfect amount of food and wood and even the eco upgrades. Maybe worth crop rotation in a game like this. All the upgrades are in for him. The upgrades are not all in here for Andre. And hold on. Hold the phone. Hold on. Trebuchet's going for it now. Dogao clearly thinks he can hold this because he's repairing. This bombard cannon's going to swoop in. Andre needs to take this castle out, but he cannot do so. He loses one of the 3 Trebs, and he can lose more of them. He saves them for now, but how is he supposed to break this civ? Andre did take one of these relics back here. I think the monk died when he went out. Yeah, the monk just died trying to get the other one. Oh, I thought he had this unique tech earlier because I saw my chat say Casbah. Well, he didn't have the tech, but I mean, he doesn't have gold now, guys. He's out of gold. The gold's through the middle. The sides are important on this map, and people love to expand there, but I think everyone well, not everyone, clearly, not dogao. A lot of people seem to forget, because the sides are so important to expand to for other reasons, that the majority of the golden stone is also through the middle. That's what makes it tricky. So you have big incentive to kind of go either way, right? So we'll see. Trebs for dogao now, maybe to finish off the game, right? This castle's down for Andre, and suddenly Andre is only on one castle, and 2 castles rather, but it's on the sides. I mean, dogao could always go there. And I think dogao's held on long enough, guys. Just Byzantine late game. It's really hard for me to say Camel Archer was a mistake because they've done so good. Done so well here, but I think dogao was able to force the issue through the middle, and ever since, he's played just perfectly behind it. And Andre's heart's got to be sinking here. His pop is actually higher than it was before he lost the castle. So his pop is actually really nice. His upgrades are better than they were before as well. And the trades continue to be fairly solid. We have the Siege Ram tech now for dogao, though, who still has gold access. And if you lose access to gold, as the Byzantines, you still have the cheap skirms and the cheap halbs. dogao focus firing down some of these camel archers. Oh, man. How many times have we seen this with Byzantines? There's 3 global bans at the start of the draft here for the qualifier. But since Byzantines don't have a lot of early strengths, no one really wants to ban them, you know? That's not true, actually. They've been banned quite a few times, but... dogao has 50 army in queue, and he has 100 army on the field now. Did he delete Vils somewhere? What happened there? Maybe he deleted or lost Vils in the middle, but he just shifts his trebs over here. And when he has this castle, it's not like Andre can then storm through the middle, but Andre, if there was ever a time to try and take out the middle castle, this would be it. Look at dogao. Thank you very much. Gets that relic a little closer to his base. And, well, rip to that castle for Andre. Now, siege rams will be taken out because there's no support for them. And now dogao has to decide on, does he keep pushing or does he save his castle? Well, Andre's not exactly going after his castle right now. So he's going to push. Berbers do have champion. Can someone tell me if they get supplies? I think they do. Again, like Berbers, you just always feel stable units or camel archers. But they have hand cannons. They can go Genitor. They can go skirms. They have champions with supplies. Now, you don't want to go champions against Byzantines with castles. But I just think whether it's a mistake from the players or not, decision-wise, it just always feels like the way the game flows, it becomes very difficult for the Berbers if the opponent is able to push them in early imp. And that's what dogao did here. Dogao still holding here. Dogao will actually take out all the trebs. He is raiding with halbs and skirms over here. And poor Andre. I mean, the score's telling him he's maybe still in this. His pop is still 150. But he just can't break this guy's defenses. And I think dogao has just played this series with such experience so far. Italians is a tough civ to break if you play safe. You play the economic approach, a good balance between army and between navy, or sorry, navy and eco, I guess, in game 1. Here, kind of a similar thing. You can't go anywhere if you're Andre, sadly. Like, look at this. It's just textbook from dogao. You go here, castle. You go here, castle. You go here, castle. And dogao's actually going to maybe try and attempt a castle here. Andre doesn't want to resign at 160 pop in such a big moment, right? I think arguably the biggest moment of his career here up against dogao. He's had some other tournaments and whatnot he played in, but I mean, the qualifier here, even though it's somewhat early rounds, there's $200 more to the winner of this, right? Which has not happened in other qualifiers, so he's not going to resign until he is killed, and he does find a way. He's going to be into the farming eco. Andre also very familiar with long games, maybe hoping that all resources on this map run out, that, I don't know, maybe all the relics are dislodged from the monasteries, and then there's no wood and to make new monasteries. And then maybe this game goes on for 6 days. It goes viral on YouTube and Twitter. And, it would ruin our whole schedule. But Andre is no secret, no stranger to the very long games. But yeah, also, that was never going to happen, of course. And the game ends here. Whoo-wee! dogao. Just so good, man. Just so good. Just, like, so consistent. Now, I think the real deciding factor of this game was early imp. But I already talked about it, so I won't break it down too much more. I think Andre felt Camel Archer was the key, but he was always able to be pushed back by Halbs and by Camels with that option. Maybe if he went, instead of the castle here, if he goes 2 castles towards the middle to beat Byzantines with the Trebor, and then your castles are on Trebs, and then you go hand cannons. I think hand cannon Treb first is great, but that's all game theory. We don't know how it would have flowed. Maybe dogao would have figured it out. Anyways, KD for Andre looked fantastic. Not so much for dogao, but he doesn't care. He collected more of every resource there. This guy's just so consistent. There's a reason people have him as one of the favorites to qualify for the main event. And again, until he's shown that he needs to really break out of his safe element, he's not going to do that in this series. He's playing as a favorite should. We've got Khmer Vietnamese here. Vietnamese, I think, have the greater peak here. Their eco upgrades, researching faster is kind of nice. It's also cheaper, though, too. You know where the opponent's TC is, so if you wish to be a little lamey, you could do so if you're dogao. Dogao has not done that. Khmer, they will want to go for lots of knights and scorpions here, but in order for the knights to work, I think you need to stop the archer snowball from Vietnamese. More notably, I think you need to stop the cav archers. I think cav archers on Arabia with Vietnamese is borderline meta at this point, at this level. A couple shout outs here for people supporting the stream. Thank you, Boxer Saint. Thank you. This is great, okay? Bad, naughty pheasant. Not peasant. I thought it was peasant. But a pheasant that has been bad and naughty. Thank you for the new sub. Thank you, Parika, for the new sub. LFM. Sem. Kana Gupta. Thorine. Perle, the Budgie. Delta Dave. Kensor. Thank you, guys. It's been a lot going into the main event. Energy. And, money-wise, too. So the support so far has been amazing. I'm not just saying this. The support actually for the qualifier has been above and beyond what I expected, which we'll see what it looks like closer to the time of the main event. But, I'm definitely in don't get your hopes up that you can beat Hidden Cup 4 numbers mindset because, I want expectations to be reasonable, but it's been really great so far. So just thanks. Thanks all around. You think the games have been incredible? I think the games have been incredible, too. We have had some more lopsided sets, but as we move through the rounds, that will change, and we've already seen that with maybe not this series, but the series I didn't cast earlier was a 3-2 between Dark and Dragonstar. We had a 3-2 between Miguel and Sobek. It's going to be stable opening here for Andre. He's going to go Scouts, and dogao's going to be doing the same here. So dogao in the previous game was happy enough to go Scouts, thinking his Civ was better later on, and then just solely wall his map. Arabia and Slope's different in that there's no side control really. You kind of expand all over. So in some ways this is maybe a little bit more complicated than Slopes. In other ways I think it's very different because what dogao won that game with was very concentrated focus through the middle where all the extra stones and golds were. Arabia, you can kind of go anywhere. So there's less likelihood of heavy pressure through the middle, which I actually think would benefit the Khmer with the whole siege play. I think Vietnamese will happily play the more raid game. But then again, the Khmer are good at that as well. Andre, he seems scared right now, guys. You see this? Hasn't moved forward. He's pre-walling stuff, but he's also kind of full walling. I know we're kind of jumping to some conclusions here, And I do really like the spear edition too, because so many players don't add spears as the Khmer. But it definitely doesn't feel like he's setting up his base in a way that he thinks is going to help him in the long game. Like, it definitely feels like lack of confidence to do this. Whereas dogao is just like, come and break me, you know? See what happens. I'll defend from it. The timings will be perfect. He hasn't left his base, but he's full walling for the later stages. And it's like super clean, super consistent. No one's like, whoa, you know? But it's dogao. And it's crisp, and it's clean, and he's the favorite, and he will not change it. And you're probably getting sick of me saying that. But, okay, I was wrong. People got excited. People got really excited. But, yeah, dogao feels like a perfect scenario to counterattack. If he gets his walls down, looks like he will. And also, as long as he doesn't receive some heavy pressure in feudal here, it feels like the perfect scenario to switch into archers, which is what the Vietnamese want to do. What's up, Blueberry Jam? It says, miss you, T90. I'm right here. WBM says, any plans to introduce the NAC draft style system for main event? I just talked about that. I think random bans are very anti-strategy, and it can be unfortunate for players who practice strats and want to have certain things that they practiced play out. And then if it gets randomly banned, that ruins a week's worth of strategy potentially, right? So random bans is nice for variety, and I saw the benefit from it at NAC as well. But I want there to be like a heavy strategy focus, and I want players to have preference. I think it's really important. So there will be bans, of course, but random bans, which is just like completely a coin flip on if your practice strats are available or not, will not be a thing in Hidden Cup. But I think for other events, having random bans is good. I think random bans are actually really good for tournaments that have just one map. Like King of the Desert, or like Masters of Arena, for example. I think random bans actually are really nice. I think variety is good, right? Different tournaments having different things is really good for viewership. It also tests different skill sets of players. So I'm not saying that it's bad in general. I don't think it's a fit. You guys will have to trust me on that. 1890, been watching your LEL games, and it got me back from playing. Salute to you, sir. Hey, welcome, Road Warrior. Wait, Road Waiter. Okay, that name confused me. That's kind of a tongue twister for some reason. Salutes in chat to Road Waiter, who subbed it at some point recently as well. First message on the channel. Castle Age in for dogao. And Andre's going to get his walls down. And this has been just another game where dogao does not care to have anything to do with his opponent in feudal. And drops the ranges. I'm liking this, man. Cav archers with Vietnamese. Now everyone's doing it. It's not that new. It's still like, yeah, it's still kind of borderline. Cav archers in general, actually. Maybe it's the Arabia version we have here. Maybe the Arabia version is a bit more wall-oriented. I mean, it's not the most open version of Arabia ever. But double range. And makes sense. You get... It's confusing. If you were to look at the Vietnamese tech tree, I think they're classified as a foot archer civilization. Can someone tell me what the read-up is? Anyways, its archers get additional HP. So it applies to the cav archer. And so people are starting to do that now because they also get heavy cav archer and other upgrades in late game. Someone said this happens in StarCraft 2 where the favorite will play very safe and then win in later stages. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with StarCraft, but it just makes perfect sense. dogao has more elements to his play. He can be more aggressive, but he's not going to take any risks until Andre shows him that he could break him. And Age is an economic-based game, right? So makes sense that dogao would play it like this. 0 kills, 0 deaths. Very clean from both. Both will be up at the same time. I think we will see Scorpions from Andre. Extra range on the Scorpions is really nice with the Khmer against Cav Archers, actually. And dogao Drops TC number 2. Starting to mass his Cav Archers. But it will take time to mass the Cav Archers. To have any effect, it needs to be... You need to get a bigger group. So... salutes in chat, please, for Pinch. Hola, amigo. Thank you for the raid. He's a Spanish caster who was probably casting some games. Maybe he was casting another series, and that series finished. But welcome, guys. I'll be live for the next 4 or 5 hours. I cannot speak much Spanish, but you guys know that probably. Light Cav on the way for Andre. So I think there's a point, like mid-Castle Age, you get to 3 or 4 Scorpions combined with some stable units, and it's very easy with one misclick for dogao. He runs into the Scorpion shots, and it becomes quite bad for him. I think Andre is hesitant to do it, but like if you think about the previous game, there was an opportunity through the middle. Here, it feels like an opportunity through the middle. I just don't think it's Andre's play style, but I think you have to, man. You got to try and pressure in some way. Easier said than done. You guys were casting Sebastian. Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, who from South America was playing? Well, I imagine Sebastian 3-0'd, right? I think that was the biggest lock for me today was Sebastian 3-0ing 2K2. Because that guy, he was actually behind in 2 games in his series against Rapard last week. And he had crazy comebacks with 1 TC plays. So it was like YOLO Eagles to win a game when he was 25 vils down on Quarry. And then YOLO Knights when he was 12 vils down on Mudflow. And Sebastian is just so aggressive that I felt like Sebastian would actually just kill him before the guy could even get a comeback rolling. So I can go over the schedule for the rest of the day, guys, when we get there. Right now, Res collected for Andre, who's on 3 TCs, faster than dogao. Res collected's looking really good. And this will build up towards a massive fight. What's up, Iron Chef? Thank you. Thank you, Sweemsta. It's good to see you back on Twitch. Thanks for being back. Siege Workshop, man. Can everyone in my chat just say Scorpions right now? Wait, Sebastian lost? Wait, what? Are you guys trolling? That series, like, just started. Can everyone say... Oh, there's Scorpions right here. Okay, that's literally happening. Well done, guys. Wait. Is Sebastian lost? Can I get a source on this? Can I get a mod to verify? There's no way that series was a 3-2. It started around the same time as this one. He's trolling? Okay. Don't freak me out like that. Oh my god. Alright. Well, there is chat history, and we'll go out there and take a little look-see at chat, you freaking trolls. Think you're funny, huh? Think you've got power, huh? No, it's like kind of good. Kind of not, but it's fine. We're not going to ban you. That's 1 strike, though. All right? Actually, it'll be perfect at Hidden Cup main event, because you could see someone and you could just... Doesn't matter what you say. you could say Viper 3-0'd every series. Or I guess 4-0'd. And no one will know if you're correct or not. Come on, have confidence in the Scorpions. They have 8 range, Andre. He's booming, though. Khmer Farms, no joke. dogao, snagging some relics. He did just kill a monk over here, but Andre's going to be right back to it. I think it is actually easier to play Scorpion like Cav Knight right now, because it's just, you can split them up. The Cav Archer play has more potential, but I am thinking that Andre could find some opportunities, maybe. There's this stone exposed. There's this gold exposed. This area can be raided with knights. But Andre's 2-0 down. Then dogao, the legend, who's one of the best players of all time, is super consistent here. And he's making his opponent work. Here go knights and light cav. dogao will see this. This is where it starts to get messy. This is where I think we'll see a third range from dogao. Ballistics for dogao. The Scorpions! Big shots. Lots of weak CA now. Now suddenly, dogao can't raid. His monk goes down. And Andre starting to take some very nice engagements. dogao goes for the 3rd and the 4th range, thinking he needs more cav archers. Now, imagine if the scorpions were forward, too. Now, what dogao may try and do is he may try and add knights to kill the scorps, but he's not going to have a big mass of them, right? So that's not going to be too easy. Andre's got a lot of stone. I would love everything forward for Andre and a forward castle. I don't think you want a defensive castle here. Come on, man. Bring the scorpions forward. This is your hope. This is your life. This is your dream. I think if this is your life, your hope, and your dream, though, something has maybe gone wrong. But seriously, it is scorpions combined with knights and pikes that can do it. Look at the range. I don't think dogao can engage against this as long as Andre is just backing up. Andre, great micro from dogao, actually. Andre is losing some knights here. But still, the cav archers have to stop and the regroup, and dogao's taking losses. This is where I'd like to see Andre pull the knights back here to the scorpions. He did lose a lot of knights there. We wanted the scorpions. We have the scorpions. Will we get the forward castle? Come on, Andre. You're down 2-0. I don't know. It's like you don't want to go forward unless you know you're going to win the fight. And right now, it doesn't feel like that's a sure thing. He's doing it. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So something that I've been trying to work on in my game, and I think a lot of players and viewers don't realize how important it is too many people place a passive forward castle. Like, you think a castle here works. I think if you're placing a castle at your opponent's base, a good rule of thumb is it has to be near a town center. That's just my brain and what I think about this. Oh, these scorpions are insane. So I'm thinking castle here. Yes, that's perfect, right? Like, just basically watch Yo drop castles and don't watch Doubt drop castles, and then you're golden, right? Yo will always bring 10 or so villagers. It will always be a castle that is right next to a town center. And this pressure is amazing for Andre. And if he gets this up and he breaks through here, it's going to be awkward for dogao. But that is an if right now because dogao's out of the mangonel. The cav archers are on the way. One scorpion's gone down. The big army, but the castle will go up. And dogao's going to try and go up to imp now. And he will drop a castle there. I don't know if that goes up. If Andre attacks this gate and runs around here, can't that be denied? And he brings the scorpions in. Can't this be denied? Just go all in. There go the knights. These knights here get converted. Castle's not up yet. And Castlefire and scorpions make life very difficult for dogao. This could be decent for Andre. I mean, dogao's making this look very easy. Just holding next to this castle is not easy. But, I mean, he is also losing villagers. The knights have spread out. This is the messy game that Andre wanted to bring to the Vietnamese, finally. And dogao's castle, in the end, will go up. It's a good castle because it allows them to make trebs. And Andre kind of backing up right now, and he's going to try imp as well, which I think is great. Make it messy if you're Andre. See, the Civ is not that known for being good with Cavalier. Okay, this should never happen. dogao would never do this against a top 10 player. dogao is doing this because he thinks he just can. Look at this. Escaping to the sides. It's actually so good that he's doing this because he's got limited gold. But it is so risky, and Andre just never really tried to break in here. He never really tried to loop around here to raid. There's so many raiding opportunities. dogao should be chasing knights right now, but he's able to move forward. And so dogao will be an imp much faster. His cav archer mass hasn't been touched. And dogao's cav archer mass is ridiculous. He's got 50 of them now. But again, the confidence. He's like, let's give it a shot. Get some extra golds out there. Okay, dogao. These are commerce scorpions. You are about to be an imp. Oh, God. Andre might not... Andre's not going to expect siege in the middle of the map. Oh, God, Andre! Uh-oh. Oh, well, okay. Commerce scorpions for the win, then. Cav Archer's still over here. Andre trying to avoid that. Finds a gap over here. Just passing from dogao in the slowest way possible. They're faster now because the monk is dead. Scorpion still getting some very valuable hits. And it will be Cavalier for Andre. Cavalier could snipe. Nice finds from Andre. Cavalier could snipe the trebs that dogao is going to make. And Vietnamese do not get any upgrades to make their castle stronger. One of few civilizations where that's the case. Right? Or wait, do they get hoardings? I thought they didn't have masonry, and I thought they didn't have hoardings, but now I'm second-guessing myself. I think they get hoardings. Wild Beast is they get hoardings, but no masonry. Okay, well, hoardings is expensive. We're not going to see hoardings. At least not anytime soon. But no university upgrades for HP. Andre, 3 relics, so he has the advantage there. He can raid those side golds that are not yet protected. But he cannot engage against this because for another 30 seconds, these Cavalier are still just Castle Age units. Dogao's got upgrades. Dogao needs heavy CA here. You really have to max out your units. Get heavy CA. That'd be huge. And Trebs this castle down. We'll build another very safe castle here. And still no heavy Cav Archer, but he knows he's up against Cavalier. We'll see how the micro goes here. That is a lot of Cavalier. This is no joke here. If Andre gets this around, and I think dogao a little distracted now. I don't think he knows he's taking this fight. I think he realized it's too late, and I think like there's definitely a sense of inevitability about some of this, right? He feels like I've got this guy, but Andre still showing he came to play. I think dogao might have been looking here. Andre's not. Villagers are getting sniped. Behind this, we see the pikeman upgrade. That's the comp. You want Halb, you want heavy Cav Archer, and then you want, well, just Siege at that point. But it's 38 Cavalier, and it is 34 Cav Archers. So if these Cavalier can spread out now and find different areas, dogao can absolutely be picked apart. And when you play as the Khmer, you can just drop farms anywhere, and the efficiency of the placement doesn't matter. Heavy Scorpion! Whoa, dude. This TC will be a goner. Those vills will die. This TC's just been found. I don't think Andre ever expected that. Dogao's already collected half the gold there. And Andre's going to try and get into the back and raid. I actually think Heavy Scorpion is a big move. Because dogao doesn't have raiding units. He's going for the big Deathbell army with Trebs. Having Heavy Scorpion with some Trebs of your own, if you're Andre, could potentially push that back. And then Halb's not as big of an issue, maybe. Andre finally... This single Cav Archer killed 9 villagers, so I can only imagine what the other ones did. Andre finally noticed that. Andre's villagers wandered over here, built an outpost, and now they wander back to their death. Which is kind of funny. Couple Cavalier get back here. And that will be killed. Heavy Cav Archers in. Halb is in. Great upgrades for dogao. He has not seen Heavy Scorpion yet. I like how he's... Normally I wouldn't say this. But considering there's Scorpions out, I think raiding with the Cavalier, with the Cav Archers is really nice. Because Andre wants to push. But nice micro from Andre. And I think dogao is to respect those Scorpions. He's going to go bombard cannons to try and snipe those. It's good for him that dogao has this gold here. Like, that gold is funding so many of these gold units right now. Oh, man. Scorpions. Scorpions. They're heavy. They're heavy. They're hitting. The Cavalier engage. Not really the type of engagement you want. You want the Halbs to not be lined up this way, but more so straight on. But it's full clear for Andre. The problem is his eco's dead. He's lost so many vills. 10 villagers killed by those Cav Archers. These Cav Archers here have killed another 20. At the same time, maybe dogao does get pushed by this, but eco tends to win games. And dogao has that extra gold still. Important for Andre to kill this bomber cannon. He will do so. You could tell Andre right now feels as though it's near the end for him with the way he's moved forward with this treb. One treb, usually that never works, right? And now the Bomber Cannon from dogao, who is a heavy favorite in this series, snipes multiple Scorpions. And the treb will go down, and Andre's down to 128 pop. dogao holds his castles. dogao's got crazy production. And dogao, even though he was troubled at times, even though it got awkward, and Andre tested him, this guy's been around for long enough. He's been through much bigger tests, and it shows. A great game. A great game. You would have wanted to see Andre make it a bit messier, maybe early on. But the forward castle from Andre gave him a really nice shot. I think dogao pushing out to the extra gold was actually a big play here, because this gold he's barely taken and is very exposed. He doesn't have gold elsewhere. Like, that's crazy to me. Maybe if Andre would have spotted that, dogao wouldn't have been able to get heavy cav archer and make so many trebs to push this position. And now, like, at this point, I think the natural switch for dogao is stables. You see the cav armor, and he'll probably aim to go light cap, but the GG's called. I think Andre deserves a lot of salutes and respect for his series. The previous game went very late. He might have had a chance. Game 1 was a little tough, but he did go to water against dogao. And this game, just awkward to play Khmer at times. Not many people can take dogao to imp and make him sweat like he did here today. But dogao, who is one of the favorites in his bracket, we'll look at that in a second, remains unbeaten. And we'll move into round number 3, as everyone pretty much expected once they saw the bracket. dogao wants to be back in Hidden Cup. And I love his consistency. He's just like, every single game, he is just slightly better than his opponent. He's happy to take it to late game. He's not in any rush. He doesn't need any YOLO strats. I think you can look at a player like this and think, regardless of what civ he gets, regardless of what map, he is going to bring a certain level. He really does not have a lot of weaknesses. dogao's weakness is that maybe he can't compete with, like, the top 10 all the time, but you've got 7 of the biggest names already in the main event. He's not going to run into them. And yeah, we'll look at that bracket here in a second. I do have an idea of where I think dogao will end up, and I think it's relevant to mention now that we just completed that series. So actually next, I think dogao will actually face another Brazilian. I think he faces Stark, who 3-0'd running yesterday, which was totally unexpected. Like, running is 2,600 elo. Stark is like 2K3. Stark, like, not playing the game as much. Stark, like a lot of these Brazilians in the qualifier, a bit older, has been around a long time, and everyone keeps being like, yeah, next generation, yeah, go young kids. And these freaking Brazilians, dude, they just won't go away, right? And let me just look at this bracket and show you. But I think it is dogao and Stark. Let's see. Dogao and Stark. Dang. So this group is really tricky, though, because you have dogao and Stark. So Brazilian Civil War. The loser there is out, right? Whoever wins that goes to the qualifying best-of-7 match against either Barles or Daniel. Both amazing players. I think Barles is the favorite there. Like 60% Barles, 40% Daniel. And then I think dogao is the favorite against Stark. I would say even more. Like 65% dogao, 35% Stark. Now, whoever makes it here, so let's say it's like Barles, dogao. If you make it to the qualifying match best-of-7 and you lose, which one of them will, you have a second chance against other players who lost their best-of-7s here. So the only way you get a second chance, the way you can still qualify after losing a series, is if you make it all the way to that best-of-7, which is the round 4. So, yeah, Barles, Daniel, and dogao and Stark, that group is set, and there's still more to come in round 2, but that should be epic. The playoffs will be wild, but the second chance playoffs will be wild as well.